What's up guys, it's your man JB here, and in this video we're going to look at the quickest way to paint a door just like this. Okay, so checking out the internet and YouTube, there are hundreds, but there's plenty of videos telling you how to paint a door. Now before we get started, this is not the way to paint it. Go check out other videos and what have you. People do it in all different, slightly different ways. But this is my take on how to paint a door like this very quickly. Now, ultimately, you've got three ways in which you can paint a door. You can either spray it, you can brush it, or you can roll it. Now, there's no doubt that spraying it is going to be the quickest. But if it's indoors, if it's in an established property, like this where you've got fixtures and fittings and what have you, it might not be convenient to spray it, and you might not have the appropriate equipment. You might not have a sprayer, and they can be quite pricey, let me tell you. So the best way to do it, really, if you haven't got access to a sprayer, is either roll it or brush it. But if you're doing a door like this, which is flush, it is flat, as in it hasn't got any wood grain to it. Okay, it's got these panels here, but this part of the door is completely flat. So I'm not going to brush it today. I'm just going to roll it. Now what you may hear some people do is roll it, then lay it off with a brush. And that basically means covering it with paint, with a roller, and then getting your brush and just finishing it off, giving it a nice smooth finish and getting those brush marks the way you want it, or to get rid of that stipple effect or that orange peel effect that a roller will give you. Now that leads me on to my next point, because this door is in my property and I'm not too bothered about having a roller stipple effect. If you are doing this for somebody else, then it might be worth just mentioning to them, look, do you want brush marks, or do you want me to finish it with a roller and you may get like a slight orange peel finish? So yeah, quite a good idea just to check with the client. So I'm going to be rolling this door, and I'm going to be using my Purdy 4-inch roller. Now some people may say this is a little bit small to be painting the door, and you can do it with anything up to a 9-inch roller if you wanted to. But even with this, it's pretty quick, and for this I am using my Purdy mini roller, jumbo mini roller, and I've got this white dove sleeve on it, and this is absolutely ideal for gloss and satin. So do consider the size nap or the length of the fibre of the roller that you're using. The longer this is, the rougher finish you're going to have on this, or the more stipple or orange peel effect you're going to end up with. So I do prefer to use this type of roller. Now it is a 3/4 inch nap, there we go, so it is quite fine. It really isn't very thick at all. So there it is for all paints and finishes by Purdy. Yeah. Most lint free, very soft. Oh yeah. Oh, I just had a facial. Yes, last week I had a facial. If you want to go check that out, that's on my other channel, The Feel Good Man. Yes, go check it out. Do it now. Well, watch this video first. Right then, so I've got my roller. That's most important. Now let's have a look at this door. This door has been prepped, okay? I'm not just going to be painting straight on top of the door. You do not want to do that. Do not paint straight on top of your door. You need to prep it. Now here's the ironic thing. This video is titled How to Paint a Door Quick. Well, this video isn't going to be quick. You need to listen and learn, you know what I'm saying? Because this will help you prepare your door and then make painting it really quick, particularly if you're going to be using a roller like I am in this video. As you can see with this door, I've taken the furniture off. Here it is right here, and I've also taken the lockout here, so I can just go straight up and down with the roller. If I'd have left them on, I would have had to cut in around the handle and then gone round with the roller and try and get it as close as possible. So take those off, you'll get a much quicker and better finish if you take that all off. So I've given the whole door a rub down. Now I've rubbed it down with a piece of 120 grit paper. I wouldn't necessarily go any more than 120 grit paper because all I'm trying to do is just scratch this surface slightly. I don't want to start taking loads of paint off, but you do need to make sure you get rid of all the shine that's on the door. Now with this particular door, particularly in bits like this, it really is quite tricky because you've got this kind of moulding section to the door. Painting this bit's absolutely fine, and this bit's not too bad because it's quite flat, but you've got this moulded piece here, and it does mean it's going to take a little bit of time to give that a rub down. Now what you could do, as well as using a piece of 120 paper, is get yourself a sponge sander as well, and these are great because, as the name suggests, they're spongy, so they're kind of soft. Well, they are soft like a sponge, but they've also got this rough edge all the way around them. So with something like this, you can really get in there, so that's absolutely fantastic. I would get one of those if I were you. So I gave it a rub down and gave it a good wipe down and brush, get rid of all the dust off it, and then I have applied one coat of an appropriate wood primer and undercoat. Now in theory it probably didn't need a primer. Only if you've got patches of bare wood would you really need the primer, but if it's completely sealed with a coat of paint and you don't expose any wood, you would actually be okay just using an undercoat. And particularly on this door, because it was quite yellow, you may even get away with just putting a couple of top coats straight on the top once you've sanded it, but I really wanted to whiten it before I started putting the top coats on because it really was quite yellow initially. So the next thing I need to do here is to give this a very light rub down, and I only want to use a very light piece of sandpaper, and that's going to be in the way of a bit of 180. Nothing harsher than 180. 180, 240 would be perfect, and it really is just to give the surface just a very, very light scratch and really get it prepared for that top coat. And all we need to do here is literally just brush it over, because even after doing the primer undercoat, it will feel a little bit rough and you might get the odd little bump or bit of dirt in there, and this is your opportunity to just get that off, rub it down, get it nice and smooth. So the paint I'm using here is a water-based satin wood, and all I'm doing to begin with is just these edges here. Now you can do these with a roller, as in the edges of the door, but this side's a little bit trickier because you've got the hinges, so I'm just doing this side here with a brush, and you hardly see this edge, and it's not a large surface area either, so it really doesn't matter too much. Just be careful about getting it on this face. As you're running the brush down, you might end up scraping the brush and actually leaving some paint on the edge, so just go over that with the brush as you do that edge, just to make sure there's not too much paint that you end up knocking off. And just before I do the front face, I'm going to just do the bottom of this bit here, because I'm not going to be able to get the roller in there, and it'll just be easier to touch that with a brush and get that all the way to the bottom. There we go, and that's good now. So what I can do is get my mini roller loaded up. Look at that, just see how quick that is. And try not to get too much on the roller for this edge. but that is it. Right then, let's get cracking with the face of the door. And I'll start with the bit up top. This time I'm going to load the roller up now. I'm going to get lots of paint on it this time. And then what we'll do is we're going to start by doing these sections here. There we go. Getting all that paint right in those corners. There we go. That looks good. So at this point, this is where some people might lay the paint off as well to keep it nice and flat, but I'm going to keep this stipple effect so I haven't got to worry about laying off, and just getting it right in those corners. I'm coming back for a second coat once this is dry, and this is quick dry as I've said already, so the advantage of that, you can get 2 coats on in the same day. How about that? There we go, nice. That's that bit. Last bit up here. I mean, make sure you've got plenty of paint on there, but you don't want it dripping, so just be a little bit careful. There we go, that's good. Get up there. Right, that's that bit there done. We'll do this centre panel now. Plenty of paint. So like I said earlier, although it would be quicker doing it with a much bigger roller, this really doesn't take that long, to be honest, using this 4-inch jumbo roller. There we go. Just make sure you've got a nice even pattern in there and there's no lumps of paint that haven't been spread. Just pull out any little bits of dirt or something that I've got in there. There we go, perfect. So that's that bit there done. Okay, let's do the bottom bit. Exactly the same. Get the paint in there. I used to do this bit with a brush and then do the rest with the roller, but then you end up with one bit that's got a rolled effect, or the orange peel effect, and the bit inside here which is actually brushed. So we really want to try and keep it all the same, to be honest. I will tell you though, this is a quick way of painting your door. Get yourself a nice thin nap roller sleeve, and by the time that paint dries and settles, it really is pretty good. You can almost use the roller as a paintbrush just to dab in those corners there if you can't quite get in there when you're rolling it. Right, there we go. That's the bottom panel moulding bit done. Go around that again, perfect. Right, let's load up. Get this top section done. I think I'm coming to the end of my paint now because I'm starting to find more bits in it. So just make sure you get those out straight away. You definitely don't want to be starting to pick those out when the paint's going off and drying. Look at that, I've actually got that whole panel done. with one roller full of paint. Just double check it. There we go. Nice, looking good. Right, we're going to go to the top. The tops of these doors have been primed already. You really don't see the top, so I'm not going to go over it with the top coat. Nice, coming down both edges. You could argue that you should really only focus on one. But one of the things about water-based paint is it does dry very quickly, and particularly if you are in a warm environment. And the problem with that is, and painting something like this, a door, is that if the paint starts drying and you go back to it and roll over it, you'll get something called flashing, and that's basically where the paint has started to dry and then you go over it and it starts pulling it up and giving you a really bad looking effect. It really is a pain in the backside. You really want to try and avoid that, so where possible try and keep everything joining up as quick as possible. And actually one of the reasons for rolling it, because you can get it done really quick before the paint starts drying. There we go, that's looking nice. What I am going to need to do is run the brush along this bottom edge. If you've got a plastic sheet that you've put down, you'll probably be alright, and just use the mini roller. So we'll just run along the bottom of that with the brush. I'll get close to it when I do the rolling. I should have put a proper sheet or something down. But instead, I use my best duvet cover. Because that's how committed I am. Oh yes. Right, here we go. Last bit along the bottom. Get nice and close, so really go over those brush marks, so you're not going to see those at all now, particularly being down the bottom. And make sure that's joined there nicely. And there we go, fantastic. That is looking nice, man. Little bit of dirt there. There we go. Fantastic, guys, so that's it from me. Now don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel, JBTV. Oh yes. Nice one, guys. See you on the next video.